commodities. In business, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission secures $400 million in decompositioning liability. And on the foreign scene, Ghana receives U.S. deported Nigerians, Gambia, other West African nationals. And in sports, stakeholders harp on the importance of restructuring sports. Hello and welcome to our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has ordered a Federal Executive Council committee to move swiftly on measures to further reduce food prices across the country. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, disclosed this in Abuja, says the directive focuses on ensuring safe passage of farm produce across transport routes to cut logistic costs. The minister said the plan is tied to Tinubu's broader vision of food sovereignty beyond availability to ensure affordability, accessibility, and nutrition on a sustainable basis. The All Progressive Congress, that is APC, says a climate action must become a central part of Nigeria's political agenda. To this end, the party convened a climate policy dialogue in Abuja, bringing stakeholders together to explore how green policies can shape its campaign strategy ahead of the elections. Global Television's Ubong Usoro reports.
The ruling party says climate change is no longer just an environmental issue, but a political one. The APC Climate Change Network believes green voters will play a critical role in the country's next election. Speakers at the dialogue stressed the need to mainstream climate action into APC constitution and campaign promises.
What it means, if for instance a mini grid, even if it's 10, we come to a community with the candidates and give it to 10 families, influential families, maybe the Emir, the Memwa, and give them and explain to them, you are fighting climate change. This is the man that brought it. And 95 thesis to make sure that needs is part of the critical thematic areas we are going to address.
Green votes are about young people. He said they want jobs, clean air, renewable energy, and accountability. Mainstreaming climate policy, he added, is a way of showing voters that the party is ready for the future.
Political will and the leadership and the government to understand that climate change is even an issue.
Experts at the dialogue say the move could boost APC's appeal among young Nigerians and rural voters who are demanding greener policy. Whether this commitment translates into action remains to be seen. But the ruling party is clearly positioning itself to win what it's called the green votes. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
The House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation has raised concern over the slow pace of budget implementation. But key finance officials have assured lawmakers of improved performance before the year runs out, following a closed-door session with the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Debt Management Office, and the Accountant General of the Federation in Abuja. The committee chairman, Abubakar Bichi, confirmed that discussions centered on the 2024 and 2025 Appropriation Acts. Aniete Patrick reports.
Addressing the media, Chairman, House Committee on Appropriations attributed some delays to ongoing verification and reconciliation processes and the transition to the extended fiscal framework, but emphasized that key infrastructure projects are still being executed nationwide.
Basically, members are concerned seriously about that, and Minister of Budget and Minister of Finance also confirmed to us that Nigerians can see a lot of changes and developments for this budget. And Nigerians are really concerned about the budget implementations, which is core mandate to the National Assembly We have engaged with Minister of Finance and Minister of Budget. Both of them acknowledged that, and they agreed to work so hard so that at least Nigerians can see the progress of the budget.
Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, told lawmakers that the 2024 budget is already 80% implemented, with the National Assembly extending its validity to December. He explained that priority projects include grassroots infrastructure such as roads and irrigation schemes.
The budget for 2024 was extended by the National Assembly till December, so it is still running. So it is still a work in progress, it's still ongoing. And likewise, we looked at what is happening in 2025, and we put heads together to ensure that particularly the projects that touch the grassroots, that provide support and provide resources and facilities.
Budget and National Planning Minister Abubakar Bagudu highlighted the strong collaboration between the executive and the legislature, stressing that reforms under President Bola Tinubu are beginning to yield results.
They have supported all the major reform initiatives which have produced the results, including the latest tax reforms. It's an ongoing discussion. The committee and the executive have interfaced, and we appreciate what we need to do better. Both
ministers reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to ensure full and effective implementation of the 2024 and 2025 budgets. The Appropriations Committee says it will continue to closely monitor progress to ensure that Nigerians feel the impact of the national budget. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The federal government has reaffirmed the boosting agriculture research is key to achieving sustainable food security in Nigeria. Executive Secretary, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Dr. Abubakar Jaban, stated this at a stakeholders forum held in Abuja. Aniete Patrick has the details.
With food security high on the national agenda, experts and stakeholders gathered in Abuja to assess Nigeria's agricultural research capacity under the theme Agricultural Research Capacities in Nigeria, the Journey So Far. Executive Secretary, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Dr. Abubakar Jaban, stressed that research is the backbone of the country's agricultural transformation. He called for stronger institutions, wider stakeholder collaboration, and adoption of modern technology to boost productivity.
In this new phase of AICN, we are committed to building on this legacy of our predecessor by pursuing initiatives that align with the strategic goals of AICN and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
The Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, Dr. Shuaibu Madugo, and other stakeholders highlighted the evolution of research institutes and their impact on national food security.
Infrastructural capabilities, well, as you can see, we have several infrastructural growth over the years, including establishment of ISO certified laboratories.
The discussions at the forum are expected to provide useful insights to achieving sustainable food security. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Sabi Abdullahi, has urged journalists covering the National Assembly to exercise caution and accuracy in their reportage to avoid misleading the public. The minister gave the advice at a one-day capacity-building workshop on parliamentary reporting in Abuja. Topsy Ginba reports.
Speaking at the capacity-building workshop on parliamentary reporting organized by the Senate Press Corps in Abuja, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, emphasized that the parliamentary reporting is a specialized bit requiring intellectual depth and responsibility. He maintained that the legislature remains the hallmark of democratic governance and enjoined reporters to play their role, strengthen the institution rather than undermining it.
His vision is for us to have food sovereignty. Within the ambit of food security, you go for food sovereignty, which means you are sufficiently producing your commodities or your produce yourself, and you are making it available for your citizens in an affordable level and accessible at the same time.
Also, addressing participants, the Presidential Liaison Officer on National Assembly Matters, Senator Dr. Ita Ennang, encouraged journalists to familiarize themselves with legislative processes through the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in order to enhance accuracy.
Reporting has been the penchant for the media to give less attention to bills and legislative measures, but rather focus on such side of the news from the legislature. Even when the least attention is given to a legislative measure, it is the soft, of course, and indeed the least relevant measure to the bills under consideration.
In his remarks, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramudu, highlighted the media's critical role in national development.
By creating a platform for dialogue, reflection and training, we are not only strengthening the quality of journalism, but also enriching our democracy. On behalf of the Nigerian Senate, I assure you of our continued support and partnership initiatives that enhance openness, accountability, and professionalism in the coverage of legislative works.
Earlier, Chairman of the Senate Press Corps, Tai Odowale, commended the resource persons for their insights while urging members of the press to sharpen their skills in legislative reporting.
You all to this very important occasion, strategically conceived to widen our horizon of knowledge on what it takes to cover the Parliament. In this context, the National Assembly, be it the Senate or the House of Representatives, and report objectively for the good of Nigeria.
The workshop was expected to further equip parliamentary correspondents with the knowledge and skills required to bridge the gap between lawmakers and the public, while deepening Nigeria's democratic process. Topsy Gimba for Global Television News.
The Defense President of the Defense and Police Wives Association, Ogogo G. Musa, has called on members of the Defense Non-Commissioned Officers Wives Association to embrace empowerment through parenting, entrepreneurship, and self-care. She made the call while declaring open a personal development training in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere completes the story.
Addressing participants, President, Defense Police Officers Wives Association, Ogogo Musa says the theme of the training, balancing intentional parenting, entrepreneurial, and personal well-being, reflects the daily reality of women as wives, mothers, and pillar of strength. She explained that the POA remains committed to supporting the NCOA, stressing that empowering non-commissioned officers' wives strengthen families and by extension the armed forces community.
Care is not selfish. It is survival. It is strength. If we don't take care of ourselves, we'll be able to take care of people around us.
She emphasized that parenting, entrepreneurship, and self-care are not competing demands, but interconnected responsibility, urging participants to prioritize their well-being as a foundation for family and business growth.
Some complaints here and there, and we had to put up this program so that they can come and learn firsthand. And as you can see, you see that they are very happy because this opportunity was given to them. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So we need to fill the cup, and for them to be able to, perform their daily activity optimally.
To be expected of my members after these lectures, like those I still can hear, some of them say they did not start a business, but after this they will start business. And to those that have existing business, they will know how to expand.
The training is expected to provide practical strategies to help participants balance the demand of motherhood, business, and personal development. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
A chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, Sani Shinkafi, says deploying advanced surveillance technology could give security forces the upper hand in the fight against banditry in Zamfara State. Anita Patrick reports.
As insecurity continues to plague Zamfara State, APC Chieftain Sani Shinkafi believes technology could provide the breakthrough security agencies have been searching for. He listed poverty, unemployment, weak judicial systems, and porous borders with Niger Republic as the root causes fueling crime in the state. Shinkafi urged the federal government to adopt environmental remote sensing technology, combining satellite mapping, drones, and geographic information systems to track bandits' movements, uncover hideouts, and even predict attacks. He said the innovation will enhance collaboration among the military and other security agencies, paving the way for faster and more coordinated responses.
This technology, it is very easy and very simple way to combat this armed bandit and other criminal element in the state, because that technology will enable you to identify the movement of the bandits, their hideout, their area coordinates.
Shinkafi expressed confidence that the use of mobile phone and fingerprint tracking will help dismantle criminal networks and restore peace to Zamfara. The APC chieftain therefore called on the federal government's backing for the initiative, describing it as a turning point in ending armed banditry in the states.
And wherever they are going to launch any attack using that remote sensing, it is very easy for mapping, identification. Then if he can have a synergy with Nigerian security and the federal government, with the use of satellite and surveillance drone and attacking drones, and also jet fighters and the ground troops to be put in place.
With hopes high on technology-driven solutions, it is expected that the innovations will translate into lasting peace in Zamfara State. Anita Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, Nigeria backs Amusan Broom-led team for Tokyo 2025. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now to the world of business, where the Nigerian Offspring Petroleum Regulatory Commission has announced that it secured over $400 million in pre-sale decompositioning and abandonment liabilities for recent oil asset divestment in a move to prevent Nigeria from inheriting costly environmental and financial burdens. The executive of Regulatory Commission, Benga Komolafek, disclosed this while speaking at the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative Companies Forum in Lagos, represented by the Commission's Deputy Director of Human Resources, Corporate Service and Administration, Efomona Basi. He explained that this experience shaped Regulatory Commission's approach to recent transactions, including NOAC and Oando Energy Resources, Equinor and Chapal Energies, Mobil Producing Nigeria Unlimited, and Seplat Energies, Shell Petroleum Development Company, and Resonance African Energy, and Total Energies and Telema Energies. The federal government, in collaboration with the International Solar Alliance, has launched a $500 million distributed renewable energy Nigeria Fund to accelerate solar energy deployment nationwide. This was disclosed in a statement by Bolaji Tunji Media Aide to the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabo. The agreement was formalized by Adelabo and ISA Director General Aisha Kana during the 7th Regional Committee meeting for Africa held in Accra, Ghana from September 2nd to 4, 2025. In a statement, the framework establishes a robust 3-year action plan to accelerate Nigeria's solar adoption. The $500 million DRE Nigeria Fund is designed to catalyze investment in renewable energy projects, backed by stronger regulatory support from the Ministry of Power. Nigeria's National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, NBRDA, has partnered with China's Shanghai Huaqi Industrial Company Limited to establish Nigeria's first insulin production plant. The agreement was formalized through a Memorandum of Agreement, MOA, signed in Abuja, which Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, Director General of the agency, signed on behalf of the federal government, while Shanghai Huaqi's General Manager, Bokai Zai, signed for the company. The facility is expected to reduce reliance on imported insulin and save billions of naira in foreign exchange annually. And now on the foreign scene, African leaders have wrapped up the second African Climate Summit in Ethiopia's capital with a pledge to accelerate investment in renewable energy. The summit's declaration also called for establishing a coalition of African critical mineral producers. It also urged more climate financing from the international community. The African Union, on its part, called for a global climate finance architecture that eases the debt burden on developing countries. Ghana has confirmed it will accept West African nationals deported from the United States as part of Washington's immigration crackdown. Ghanaian President John Mahama made this known at a press conference in Accra. Mukhtar Kasim tells us more.
President John Mahama told reporters in Accra that the United States approached his government to take in third-party nationals from the region, and Ghana agreed. He said a first batch of 14 deportees had already arrived, including several Nigerians and one Gambian. The arrangement, Mahama explained, aligns with the ECOWAS Free Movement Protocol, which allows citizens of a member state to enter and reside in neighboring countries.
We were approached by the U.S. to accept third-party nationals who were being removed from the U.S. And we agreed with them that West African nationals, were acceptable because all our fellow West Africans don't need a visa to come to our country. So if they decided to travel from US to Accra, they don't need a visa anyway. So if you're bringing our colleague West Africans back, that's okay. And so I think that agreement has been activated, and a first batch of 14 nationals came. Several of them were our Nigerian brothers.
Ghana's decision makes it the latest African nation to cooperate with the United States deportation policy, following similar agreements with Rwanda, Eswatini, and South Sudan. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
And now from the world of sport. The sports stakeholders said the time has come to see sport not just as pastime, but as profit. Chairman of Sports Association in the Federal Capital Territory gathered for one-day seminar aimed at reimagining sport as business venture with vast economic potential. Global Television's Samuel Odi reports.
From recreation to revenue, this was the focus as sport administrators and stakeholders on the FCT converged in Abuja. The forum explored ways sport can generate jobs, attract investments, and empower young people. The convener of the seminar, His Royal Majesty Eze Ifeanyi Eke, stressed the need for private sector partnerships, improved infrastructure, and creative investment strategies to make sport sustainable in the capital.
sports is a very big industry in the whole world. The last time I checked, it was running in hundreds of billions. And the last time I equally checked, the Americans of dollars. The last time I equally checked, the Americans have upped the ante, making sure that this gold mine, that we are not left out and we are not doing catch-up games. That's one of the reasons why this seminar is holding today. For all the past and present association chairmen to go and put on their thinking cap and find out the way and manner that we need to have sports in our kitty and sponsor sports. Government has to decentralize all sporting councils and commissions and allow them to do their regulatory activities and not be involved fully in sports.
The president of Baseball and Softball Federation, Uche Uduzo, described sport as a thriving business platform capable of boosting Nigerians' economic growth.
To make sure that, look, every sport gets an equal share in terms of the basics that you need to actually take it to the next level. And the infrastructure plays a very major role. So why is sports a business? Somebody would say. It is simply beyond recreation. We're still very recreational in nature in Nigeria, and that is why people are not earning the numbers and the figures that is needed to earn in sports. It's a powerful economic engine of any nation. It's a catalyst for job creation, especially in a nation where you have over 200 million people. A very vibrant youth, very energetic, very athletic in nature, very organic. Nigerians are very resilient, very organic. In every sport we thrive.
For the president of the Nigerian Olympic Committee, Habu Gumel, says his concern is how sports centers in the FCT has been downgraded. He laments that some centers have been turned into parking lots.
The state of sports in the FCT particularly, having been part of the history, I remember when I came, we had fleets of cars, and they call it FCT Sports Council. Today, as it is, FCT Sports has been reduced to a mere department. When we had the Sports Council, we had departments, technical, development, admin, and all these departments were there. Look at the parade ground. It's now a parking zone.
Also lending his voice, Director General of the National Institute of Sport, Philip Shaibu, emphasized the need to look beyond profit to the mental well-being of athletes, while urging private sectors to support and complement government funding.
NIS offices are established for us to decentralize. That is where we can start going straight within that axis. We start developing coaches that will produce these athletes that we want. And that is where we start calling on the private sector to come in. Government job is to provide the facility. The private sector is to come and take advantage of opportunity of this facility to drive it. If you leave government to drive the facility it has created, it will be like the National Stadium as it is today in Abuja. It will be like the National Stadium in Surulere. Yes. Because government business is not in that. It is the private sector that is supposed to do that. So for me, I will continue to push.
Stakeholders agree that beyond medals and glory, sport is a potential multi-billion naira industry that can drive tourism, revenue, and national development if financed. The seminar ended with calls for new policies and stronger collaboration to reposition FCT sports for local and global relevance. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
That's it on News Prime. Many thanks for watching. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Many thanks for watching.